There was another turn today in the case of a Minot man accused of killing his roommate. Shawnee Krull appeared for what was supposed to be an evidentiary hearing in a request to dismiss a charge of gross sexual imposition. The 30-year-old Krull faced charges of murder and GSI in the 2020 death of his roommate, Ellis Carollo. Krull wanted the GSI charge tossed with prejudice and accused the state of mishandling evidence. But the defense announced they were withdrawing their request to toss the charge with prejudice, meaning the state could pursue the charge down the road if they so choose. The courts dismissed the GSI charge, but Krull still faces the murder charge in the case. He'll be back in court in early August. A trial is set for late September.